Beaches are supposed to have golden sands and blue waters, right? Well, not these ones. Around the world, there are beaches that completely defy nature's color palette: glowing red, jet black, bubblegum pink, even eerie green. These aren't camera tricks. They're real, and their colors come from some truly bizarre natural phenomena. Punalu'u Beach, Hawaii. Located on the Big Island's southeastern coast, this beach looks like it came straight out of another world. Its deep black sand is made of basalt, volcanic rock formed when molten lava from the nearby Kaihalulu volcano hits the ocean and cools instantly. For centuries, repeated eruptions have sent rivers of lava flowing into the sea, shattering into tiny black fragments that eventually built this striking shoreline. The beach itself is narrow, lined with coconut palms, and the waters are rough, better for admiring than swimming. The dark sand heats up fast under the sun, so walking barefoot is a challenge. Still, visitors flock here not just for the scenery, but for the chance to see endangered Hawaiian green sea turtles basking on the warm sand. Punalu'u is protected land. Taking sand or disturbing wildlife is strictly forbidden. Occasionally, even monk seals are spotted lounging here. Beyond its natural beauty, the area holds deep cultural significance for native Hawaiians, with ancient fish ponds and sacred temples once nearby. Punalu'u Beach stands as a living testament to Hawaii's fiery origins, where volcano meets ocean and nature paints the coastline in pure black. Glass Beach, California. Located in Fort Bragg, this beach doesn't owe its colors to nature, but to decades of human carelessness. In the early 1900s, locals used these cliffs as an informal dumping ground, tossing glass bottles, ceramics, and even appliances straight into the ocean. Over time, the site became a mountain of shattered glass and debris. When dumping finally stopped in the 1960s, cleanup crews removed most of the junk, but the glass stayed. The ocean took over, slowly grinding those sharp shards into smooth, colorful pebbles. Today, the sand sparkles with bits of red, green, blue, brown, and clear glass, glittering like jewels under the sun. Glass Beach is now part of a protected state park. Visitors are encouraged to look, not take, though years of souvenir collecting have thinned the glassy layer in some spots. Still, after storms or at low tide, the beach reveals flashes of its original brilliance. Once a symbol of pollution, Glass Beach has become a powerful example of nature's ability to heal, turning a century of waste into something unexpectedly beautiful. Papakōlea Beach, Hawaii. Tucked away on the southern tip of Hawaii's Big Island, Papakōlea is one of only 4 green sand beaches on Earth. Its unusual color comes from a mineral called olivine, born deep inside volcanoes. When magma cools, olivine crystals form first, heavy, glittering, and tough enough to resist erosion. Over thousands of years, these tiny green crystals have washed out of a 49,000-year-old volcanic cone nearby, creating this surreal shoreline. From a distance, the beach looks olive or emerald, shimmering brightest under direct sunlight. But reaching it isn't easy. There's no direct road. Visitors must hike about 2.5 miles through dusty, windswept terrain or catch a rough local shuttle before descending into the bay. The beach has no shade, no facilities, and strong surf. It's a place to marvel at, not swim in. The surrounding cliffs help trap the olivine grains, keeping the beach's color intact. Taking even a handful of sand is strictly forbidden, as every grain contributes to this rare natural wonder. Papakōlea may be remote and rugged, but it's one of Hawaii's most remarkable sights, a living display of how volcanoes can paint the earth in colors you'd never expect to see on a beach. Pink Sands Beach, Bahamas. On Harbour Island, just off the coast of Eleuthera, lies one of the most breathtaking beaches on Earth. A 3-mile stretch of soft, rosy sand that looks almost unreal. The secret behind its color? Tiny marine organisms called foraminifera. These microscopic creatures have reddish-pink shells, and when they die, their remains mix with crushed coral and white shell fragments, creating the beach's signature blush tone. The sand here feels powdery and smooth, and the shallow turquoise waters stay calm thanks to an offshore coral reef that protects the shoreline from large waves. It's one of the few colored beaches that's both naturally stunning and easily accessible, lined with resorts, vacation homes, and palm trees swaying under Caribbean skies. From certain angles, the sand appears pale pink. From others, a deep rose hue, changing subtly with the light. But its beauty is delicate. The foraminifera rely on healthy coral ecosystems, so protecting the nearby reefs is essential to preserving the beach's color. Today, Pink Sands Beach stands as one of the world's most photographed coastlines, a rare place where nature, color, and calm coexist in perfect balance. Ramla Bay, Malta. On the northern coast of Gozo, Malta's second-largest island, lies Ramla Bay, a beach so vividly colored that its Maltese name, Ramla il Hamra, literally means red sand beach. Its deep reddish-orange hue comes from the high iron oxide content in the surrounding rocks and soil. Over centuries, erosion has carried these iron-rich particles down through the fertile Ramla Valley, tinting the shoreline in warm, coppery tones that contrast beautifully with the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean. Unlike many crowded European beaches, Ramla Bay remains refreshingly natural. No sprawling resorts or high-rises, just a few small cafes tucked away near the entrance. A statue of the Virgin Mary stands watch at one end of the beach, while above it, the famous Calypso's Cave overlooks the bay, a site local legend connects to Homer's Odyssey, where the nymph Calypso is said to have kept Odysseus captive. Thanks to strong conservation efforts, Ramla Bay has retained its untouched charm. The surrounding valley teems with native plants, tamarisk trees, and migrating birds, making it as ecologically rich as it is visually striking. With its fiery red sands, mythic tides, and pristine landscape, Ramla Bay stands as one of Europe's most unique and breathtaking coastal wonders. Pfeiffer Beach, California. Hidden along the rugged Big Sur coastline, Pfeiffer Beach is one of California's most surreal coastal gems. Its violet-tinted sand seems almost otherworldly, but the color comes from a natural source, manganese garnet, a mineral found in the nearby cliffs. Over time, rain and waves erode those garnet-rich rocks, washing tiny particles down onto the beach. When sunlight hits them at just the right angle, the sand glows in shades of lavender, plum, and deep purple. What makes Pfeiffer Beach so magical is how unpredictable it is. The tides constantly shift the garnet deposits, so the patterns of purple streaks change from day to day, creating a landscape that looks like nature's own abstract painting. The beach also features one of Big Sur's most photographed landmarks, the Keyhole Arch, a massive sea rock with a natural opening. Every winter solstice, the setting sun aligns perfectly with the hole, sending a beam of golden light straight through, a dream shot for photographers. Reaching Pfeiffer Beach takes some effort. A narrow, winding road leads you through the Los Padres National Forest to this hidden spot. It's not ideal for swimming, but its beauty is undeniable. Visitors are asked not to collect the sand or disturb the fragile deposits, as the beach's rare coloration depends on this delicate balance of minerals and erosion. Pfeiffer Beach may not have tropical warmth, but with its purple sands, crashing waves, and iconic sunsets, it's one of the most mesmerizing beaches in America. Hyams Beach, Australia. Tucked away in Jervis Bay on Australia's southeastern coast, Hyams Beach is famous for having some of the brightest, purest white sand in the world. Under the sunlight, it reflects so intensely that visitors often describe it as dazzling, almost blinding. The secret lies in its composition. The sand here is made almost entirely of ultra-fine quartz, free from the impurities that usually tint beaches yellow or brown. The result is an unbelievably soft, powdery texture and water so clear it looks like liquid glass. The bay's calm, protected waters make it perfect for swimming, snorkeling, and kayaking, and the surrounding cliffs and forest add to its postcard-perfect scenery. Though small, just a few hundred meters long, Hyams Beach draws thousands of visitors each year. Once listed in the Guinness World Records for its white sand, a claim still debated, it remains one of Australia's most photographed coastal spots. But with fame comes pressure. Overcrowding in recent years has pushed local authorities to introduce preservation rules and educate visitors on protecting the fragile dune ecosystem. Still, Hyams Beach retains its serene charm, a rare place where simplicity, purity, and nature's brilliance combine to create a beach that feels almost unreal. Kaihalulu Beach, Hawaii. Hidden on the eastern coast of Maui, near the town of Hana, lies Kaihalulu, one of the few true red sand beaches in the world. Its vivid rust-colored sand forms a striking contrast against the turquoise water and lush green cliffs surrounding it. The color comes from the erosion of a nearby volcanic cinder cone that's rich in iron. As it breaks down, iron oxide, basically rust, stains the sand deep red, creating shades that range from dark maroon to brick red depending on how recently new material was deposited. Reaching the beach isn't easy. It sits inside a partially collapsed volcanic crater, and the only access is a narrow, unmaintained cliffside trail, slippery, steep, and dangerous after rain. But for those who make the trek, it's an unforgettable sight. A natural rock wall shields the cove from strong waves, giving the waters a deceptive calm. Yet despite its beauty, Kaihalulu remains fragile. Erosion and tourism are slowly changing its landscape. Many locals now discourage promotion of the beach to protect it from overexposure. Still, its rare red hue stands as a vivid reminder of Hawaii's fiery volcanic origins, a natural masterpiece born from the island's restless geology. Reynisfjara Beach, Iceland. Located near the town of Vik on Iceland's southern coast, Reynisfjara is one of the world's most famous black sand beaches, and also one of its most hauntingly beautiful. Its jet black sands were born from volcanic fury, basalt lava that cooled rapidly, shattered, and was slowly ground down by centuries of Atlantic waves. The sand here is coarse and dark, creating a dramatic contrast with the white surf and the grey northern skies. Rising just offshore are the Reynisfjara sea stacks, towering basalt pillars that, according to Icelandic legend, were trolls turned to stone by the rising sun. Behind the beach, steep cliffs display perfectly geometric basalt columns, formed when molten lava cooled and cracked into honeycomb-like shapes, a sight as mesmerizing as it is otherworldly. Reynisfjara has become one of Iceland's top tourist spots, featured in films, TV shows, and even Game of Thrones. But it's also dangerous. Powerful sneaker waves can strike without warning, pulling visitors into the icy surf. Local authorities constantly remind travelers to admire the view from a safe distance. Its black sands are continuously reshaped by Iceland's restless geology. As new volcanic rock erodes and washes to the sea, the land itself is reborn, proving that even destruction can create astonishing beauty. Horseshoe Bay, Bermuda. On the southern coast of Bermuda lies Horseshoe Bay, a crescent-shaped stretch of soft, glowing sand that shimmers with a gentle pink hue. It's one of the island's most iconic beaches, where turquoise waves meet pastel shores framed by rugged limestone cliffs. The secret behind the pink color? Tiny marine organisms called foraminifera. These microscopic creatures have reddish-pink shells made of calcium carbonate. When they die, their shells mix with crushed coral and white limestone sand, tinting the entire beach a rosy shade, most visible when the sand is wet under bright sunlight. The texture here is powdery and smooth, perfect for long walks or lounging by the surf. While the beach gets busy during cruise ship season, its wide crescent shape ensures quiet corners can still be found. At one end, a natural rock arch lets waves crash through dramatically, while tide pools and coral patches create miniature ecosystems teeming with life. But this beauty depends on balance. Coral reefs sustain the foraminifera that color the sand, and warming seas threaten both. Still, Horseshoe Bay remains the face of Bermuda. Featured on countless postcards and travel ads, its pink sand a symbol of paradise shaped by the tiniest creatures on Earth. Platja de Ses Illetes, Spain. On the northern tip of Formentera, in Spain's Balearic Islands, lies a beach that looks almost unreal, Platja de Ses Illetes. Its sand gleams bright white, yet in certain light, it shimmers with a faint blush of pink. The effect comes from a delicate mix of crushed coral, seashells, and fine limestone, materials shaped by centuries of gentle waves and tidal movement. The surrounding waters are crystal clear, reflecting the light so intensely that the shoreline seems to glow. Ses Illetes sits within a protected natural park, where development is tightly restricted. The nearby Posidonia oceanica seagrass meadows, some of the oldest living organisms on Earth, help keep the water pristine and the beach ecosystem alive. The pink tint isn't uniform, but near the tide line, especially when the sand is wet, you can see it, a subtle blush beneath your feet. Visitors often arrive by bike or boat, since motor traffic is limited to preserve the fragile environment. Calm waves, shallow waters, and coral patches make it ideal for snorkeling. And though the beach attracts tourists in summer, strict conservation rules ensure it keeps its untouched charm. Ses Illetes isn't just beautiful, it's balanced. A Mediterranean treasure where nature, colour and protection meet to create one of Europe's most distinctive shorelines. Tangsi Beach, Indonesia. On the southeastern tip of Lombok lies one of Asia's rarest natural wonders, Tangsi Beach, a shoreline that shimmers pink. Its unusual colour comes from crushed white coral mixed with tiny red shells of marine organisms that once lived in the nearby reefs. When waves grind these fragments together, the sand turns a soft rose hue, pale when dry, glowing deep pink when wet under the sun. Getting here isn't easy. The road winds through quiet villages and rugged hills, keeping Tangsi remote and largely untouched. There are no big resorts, no beach clubs, just local fishermen and a few small stalls. The calm, clear water is shielded by rocky headlands, making it perfect for swimming and snorkeling. From the cliffs above, the contrast is breathtaking. Pink sand meeting turquoise water beneath a wide Indonesian sky. But the same fragility that gives Tangsi its beauty also makes it vulnerable. Coral bleaching, pollution, and careless tourism could dull its color over time. Conservation groups have called for protection, though much of it still relies on visitors respecting the land. For now, Tangsi remains one of the few places where nature's artistry is still mostly unspoiled, a quiet beach painted pink by the sea itself. Kaimu Beach, Hawaii. Kaimu Beach, on Hawaii's Big Island, isn't a beach in the usual sense. In fact, it didn't even exist until 1990, when molten lava from Kilauea volcano buried the original Kaimu Bay beneath nearly 50 feet of rock. What stands here today is a haunting landscape of black lava stretching into the Pacific, a place where the coastline itself is still being born. Before the eruption, Kaimu was a thriving beach community with a famous black sand shore and rows of coconut palms. But when the lava came, it erased everything, the town, the beach and the bay, in just a few days. Now, what people call Kaimu Beach is a hardened lava plain, rough and fractured, with waves crashing against sharp basalt cliffs. There's no soft sand, only crumbled lava slowly turning into grains over decades. Walking here, you can still trace faint outlines of old streets and property lines, etched permanently into stone. Over time, nature has begun its quiet recovery. Ferns, grasses, and palm trees sprout through cracks in the rock, part of a replanting effort that began when locals buried coconuts directly into the cooling lava. Today, those palms sway above the black field, symbols of renewal in a landscape born of destruction. But make no mistake, Kaimu is still wild and dangerous. The ocean drops off steeply, and the unpredictable surf makes swimming nearly impossible. This isn't a beach shaped by tides or wind. It's a beach forged by fire, a place that reminds us the Hawaiian Islands are alive, constantly remaking themselves through both devastation and rebirth. Anak Krakatau, Indonesia. The beaches surrounding Anak Krakatau, the child of Krakatau, in the Sunda Strait between Java and Sumatra, are unlike any place meant for sunbathing or swimming. This volcanic island was born from the ashes of the infamous Krakatau eruption of 1883. Rising from the sea in 1927, it's been growing ever since. But what covers its shores isn't sand, it's ash, pumice, and jagged volcanic rock. Walking here feels like stepping onto the surface of a newly formed planet. The island constantly reshapes itself, erupting, collapsing, and rebuilding in an endless cycle. Older sections crumble into the sea, while new lava hardens to form fresh land. The coastline is a surreal blend of black, rust-red, and grey terrain, still hot in places and stained with sulfur. The air smells of minerals and fire, and the ground trembles with volcanic life. Anak Krakatau's 2018 eruption was so violent it triggered a deadly tsunami and reduced the island's height by over 600 feet, completely redrawing its coastline. Despite the danger, scientists and daring explorers still visit, with permits, timing, and luck on their side, to witness one of Earth's rarest events, land being born in real time. Every eruption expands its borders. Every collapse rewrites them. Anak Krakatau isn't just a beach, it's a living frontier between fire and water. Chandipur Beach. Chandipur Beach, along the Bay of Bengal in the Indian state of Odisha, is unlike any other beach on Earth, not because of the color of its sand, but because the ocean itself disappears every single day. Known as the Vanishing Beach, Chandipur experiences one of the most extreme tidal effects in the world. During low tide, the sea retreats up to 5 kilometers, exposing the ocean floor, and hours later, it silently returns as if nothing happened. This daily rhythm transforms the coastline twice every 24 hours, revealing an entirely new landscape each time. When the water pulls back, vast stretches of seabed emerge, rippled golden sand, muddy flats, tide-carved channels, and pools teeming with stranded marine life. Starfish, horseshoe crabs, and tiny fish are left behind, while crabs scuttle across the wet sand. Visitors can walk far out into what was ocean just hours earlier, surrounded by nothing but sky and shimmering reflections that look like glass. The phenomenon happens because of the beach's gentle slope and the unique tidal dynamics of India's eastern coast. Even a moderate change in sea level pushes the waterline kilometers away. There's no volcano or special mineral here, just geography and gravity working in perfect rhythm. At high tide, Chandipur looks like any other calm coastal spot, but at low tide, it transforms into a surreal desert of wet earth. It's this dual identity, a shoreline that appears and disappears, that makes it truly extraordinary. Though the beach is peaceful and largely undeveloped, it's also home to India's integrated test range, where missile tests occasionally close off parts of the area. And while it's safe for visitors, wandering too far during low tide can be risky. The returning sea can surround you faster than expected. Chandipur isn't known for colorful sand or exotic minerals. Its magic lies in invisibility itself. It's a place where the ocean plays hide and seek, revealing a secret world beneath its waves before swallowing it back into mystery. And that's all for today's journey across the world's strangest shores. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Boggler, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next mystery waiting just beyond the horizon.